Welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast, where we discuss all things empowering, encouraging and inspiring. My name is Yvonne Ellis. I'm an empowerment speaker, author, coach, trainer and founder of Yumi Empowerment, a company that facilitates the empowerment of people. I help people to make positive life change, live in their purpose and develop into their best version of self. I share stories, interviews, spiritual encouragement and actionable tips to empower, encourage and inspire you to live the life you want. So if you want to live the empowered life, join me each week on my podcast so we can take the journey together. Hello Empowered Lifers, Happy New Year to you all. Welcome to 2022. Woo, we made it through another year. Hope that you are all doing well on this first of the month in a new year. That's right, I am recording this podcast on the 1st of January 2022. So I hope that you are all well and that whatever you did over the Christmas holidays, the Christmas season was enjoyable. I had a relaxing time with my family, ate too much food, obviously, over the whole Christmas period. And now I'm starting on my new health kick for the new year. But, it was just a really nice time just to sit back and relax with family, watch lots of kind of rubbishy Christmas things on TV, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And yeah, I am feeling recharged, ready for the new year. I hope that you are too, because today I'm going to be talking to you about 5 things you need for 2022. But before I get into all that, I just have a few announcements to share with you. First of all, I have a very special episode coming up on episode 31 of the podcast, which is the next episode, because this episode is episode 30. I have a special guest called Tasha Rigo, who is founder of a company called Chattees and also Silver Lined Horizons. She is somebody that has inspired me for quite a few years, and she was the person actually that helped kickstart my journey into the unknown back in 2016. And on the next episode, we are going to be discussing the courage to act upon ideas. It was a thoroughly enjoyable interview that I did with Tasha, and I can't wait to share that with you in the next episode. So please don't forget to turn on your notifications, whether you're on Apple, iTunes, Spotify or Stitcher, so that you can be notified of the bi-weekly Living the Empowered Life podcast episodes. And you don't want to miss this next episode, because I'm positive that you are going to feel inspired in some way by what is shared during that interview. Also, as well, in February 2022, I am going to be doing a free online event called Pep Talk. Now, Pep Talk is a talk designed to encourage and inspire you for 2022. I decided I wanted to do it in February just because everybody is always amped up in January, full of enthusiasm for their resolutions, for their goals and everything. And it's usually after the first 30 days that people start to become complacent with their goals. So that is why I've purposely decided to do this talk, Pep Talk, in February, because I think that is the perfect time to do an event like this. So as I mentioned, it will be an online event. I will be posting more details about it shortly. And if you want to come to the event, once I've posted, all you have to do is register, and then you'll be sent the invite via Zoom for you to attend on the day. It's only really going to be an hour and a half event. It's going to be on a Saturday, and it's just designed just to encourage and empower you for the year ahead. Also as well, I have some fantastic things to help you into this new year, into 2022. I don't know if you are a first-time listener. If you are, welcome. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for starting your new year with the Empowered Life podcast. I appreciate you. Or if you're a continued listener, I love you guys. Thank you for your support as always. But, I have some fantastic things to share with you that will help you through 2022. As some of you may or may not know, my new book, Into the Unknown, was released in November last year. and it has had a fantastic response. A lot of people have been able to get a lot of encouraging things to help them on their own journey into whatever they want to do. So my book, Into the Unknown, is available on Amazon. It's available from the Yimmy Empowerment store. I will leave all links to that in the show notes below. And also, just to let you know, I am a professional certified empowerment coach. I help people to work through any challenges that they have, help them to look at solutions so that they can achieve their goals or make positive life change, all these different things. So I will also leave links to that so you can find out more information about empowerment coaching, what it entails, how you go about getting it. And if you're not familiar with empowerment coaching, that is absolutely okay, because what I do have on my website is a free assessment that you can take, so you can get to try a teaser, a taster of what empowerment coaching looks like, of what it entails. So if you're interested in that, I will leave a link to the empowerment coaching on my website. Please do go and check it out. And also, I have a fantastic online course called the Courage Course. It is a course to help you to develop an action plan to go after your goals, dreams, and aspirations. In the course, it goes through what courage is, what it entails, how you can go about developing it, and also I help you to develop an action plan to go after your goals, dreams, and aspirations. So, this is for people who really do want life change, who really do want to go after the things that they've been thinking about for a long time. So again, I will leave the link to the Courage course in the show notes below. So in today's episode 30 of the podcast, as it is a new year, I want to share with you 5 things you need for a successful 2022. As I've mentioned before, on previous episodes, on things I've shared on social media, I don't do resolutions. I do improvements, building on previous success and continuing to tackle challenges. That is why for the 3rd year in a row, my letterboard remains the same. On my letterboard, which I have on my wall for the last 3 years, the things that I want to work on are self-discipline, knowledge, focus, and consistency. I'm still not there yet, and whilst I do acknowledge success in some areas, I'm still a work in progress in others. And that's cool, because I have a plan in place to help me, and I know the reason why it's important for me to do it. So that is what's going to keep me focused. I know how hard it is to stick to a plan and stick to goals when you have them, because sometimes if you don't have something in place to help you to achieve what you want to do, it can feel very overwhelming. And January, as I said at the beginning, is a month where everybody's amped to go. It's fresh, it's new. The previous year is behind you. Something about the new year just brings this energy, just brings this kind of enthusiasm, and it's good because it makes you feel positive. It's like having a fresh slate. But with all your well-meaning intentions, motivation will start to wane without an end goal and a plan. This is facts. Some people will just say, I want to do this, I want to lose weight, I want to start a course, all these different things, but they don't have a plan to do it. So this is why I believe you need to give yourself the best chance to succeed in 2022 by planning and preparing in advance and incorporating this into the things you want to do in the new year. So without further ado, I want to share with you my list of 5 things you will need for a successful 2022. The first thing I want to share with you is goals and purpose. These two go hand in hand, really. You need to know the reason why you're doing things, that's the purpose. But you also need goals. What is the purpose of your goals? This is the thing. You need to sit down and have a think about this. What is the end result? You need to write it down, because it is part of making whatever it is you're going to decide to achieve in 2022 concrete. Anybody can say they want to do something, but part of taking it seriously actually is writing it down and making it concrete. It's a little bit like giving yourself accountability to the things that you want to do. Once you write down why you want to achieve your goals or why you want to achieve this certain thing that you want to do, then you can plan the steps needed to achieve it. This is important if you're going to succeed in 2022. Take the things that you want to do seriously. The next thing you're going to need to have a successful 2022 is focus. As I mentioned in my last episode, the 2021 roundup, last year I struggled with focus. So what I'm going to do in 2022 is to set clear boundaries and routine to help me. I was able to do this in some areas, but in other areas I was not as focused in doing this. So if you struggle with focus, I would suggest that you set your mind on one thing at a time. This is where having a plan and end goals come in handy. Also, I would recommend removing distractions. These are things that I'm doing for myself as well. Things like social media, YouTube, whatever it is, until you finish focusing on what you're doing. If you can get rid of some of the distractions that have hindered you for good, then that is a positive thing. But in order to have a successful 2022, in order to achieve the things you want to achieve, you're going to have to focus. And some things are going to have to be sacrificed, whether it's your favorite TV shows, scrolling social media for hours, whatever it is, it's going to be worth it in the end. So remember to focus. The next thing you're going to need to have a successful 2022 is self-love. Don't forget to include you in your own life. One of the things I see with my empowerment coaching clients is that they're very giving, they're very loving with their time, with people, doing things for people all the time, but it always comes at an expense, and that expense is themselves. If you are putting others first at the expense of yourself, this has to stop in 2022. Now let's keep it simple. If you are not doing things to help you to be a content, peaceful, joyful or happy person, how can you pour into others? How can you put others first? How can you help those around you? I'll say this to you as I've said to my empowerment coaching clients, it is not selfish to put yourself first in your own life. Because others will continue to take from you knowing that you're not putting yourself first because they know you are a giving person. This is something I'm going to talk specifically about in another episode about people who are just takers. People who are just ones that will just take from you and not consider you at all, and they don't care about the effect that it's had on you. Sometimes it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, actually, today I'm going to have time for myself, or work on the things that I want to do for a change. Take time for you to do the things that will nourish your spirit and soul. What is your love language to yourself that you appreciate? Is it walks? Is it quiet time? Whatever it is, make self-care a priority in 2022. Once you can do that, you will find that you will have energy to do other things for other people if you choose to, but do make self-care a priority. The next thing you will need for a successful 2022 is inspiration. Seek things that will encourage you this year. These last 2 years have been absolutely brutal with the whole pandemic, with all the bad news, with everything in the world just seeming so doom and gloom. It can be hard to actually feel that, there's anything positive in the world. I know that I have struggled with this at times. But one of the things I'm encouraging you to do is to find those pockets of inspiration, things that will encourage you this year, not just in achieving your goals, but in life in general. We all need things to inspire us. It could be other people's stories, it could be quotes, it could be appreciating the nature and the beauty of the things created by the living God. Find things that inspire you as a person and tap into those things. Tap into those things that will encourage you to dream big, to achieve your personal goals, to be the person you want to be. It could be books, it could be podcasts, it could be attending events either face-to-face or online to connect with other people who are doing inspiring things. Just like a plant needs certain things to develop and grow, it is the same for you. It's the same for all of us. To thrive, to be inspired and motivated, you need to surround yourself with encouraging, empowering and inspirational things. Another thing you will need to have a successful 2022 is motivation. As with my last point about inspiration, the same applies to motivation. What's going to keep you motivated, passionate, enthusiastic to have a successful 2022? I'm going to leave that for you to answer for yourself. Why? Because that is part of your own motivational journey. What motivates and drives me is different from what motivates and drives you. Motivation comes from desire, and unless you have the desire to do something, it is very difficult to find motivation. So have a think about that and then find what motivates you and tap into it so that you can keep going in 2022. And the last thing I want to share with you that you will need to have a successful 2022 is grace. For the times you may stumble, get off track, or make mistakes, you will need to grant yourself grace. But what is grace? From a Christian perspective, I'm going to share with you what I believe grace is. Grace is a spontaneous gift from God. It is generous, free, and totally undeserved. It is divine favor, love, and clemency. And as God grants us grace in such a loving and giving way, we should not only extend grace to others, but also to ourselves. Sometimes that can be hard to do, to grant grace to yourself. And that is because we mess up so many times. I can definitely say that about myself. There is one area of my life I'm still struggling in. I keep messing up in this one area. But as I say this to you, I say it to myself. Grant yourself grace. Rather than beat yourself up, acknowledge it, identify what went wrong, and get yourself back on track by working on whatever it is. Sometimes it's one step forward, 2 steps back. But progress is progress, so keep trying and keep going. So the Bible scripture I want to leave you with this week comes from the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, verse 16. It says, "Let us approach the throne of grace with confidence, so that we may find mercy and grace to help us in our time of need." But even if you feel 2022 might be tricky for you with the things that you want to accomplish, with the goals that you have in mind, I would encourage you to take that to God in your time of need, in the times where you feel actually it's going to be very difficult or I'm struggling with something. And I would encourage you as well to grant grace to yourself. You can't move forward and do anything when you're in a position where you're always beating yourself up. Acknowledge where you are and move forward. Try and include God in the midst of all your plans, in everything that you're trying to do. So thank you for joining me on this very special episode. It's the first episode of 2022. Thank you for listening in. So as usual, I always post a notification of the episode on my Instagram, which is Yemi Empowerment, YEME_empowerment. And also my Facebook and Twitter by the same name, Yemi Empowerment. And usually with episode notifications, I usually ask a question to go alongside it. But for this episode, I am just going to be asking you for any prayer requests that you have. You can either DM me on Instagram or on Twitter and Facebook, and I will pray for you, or you can just post it in the comments. When I post the question, what would you like prayer for, to help you to have a successful 2022. So that is it for this episode. As mentioned at the beginning, I will post links to all the resources and services that Yemi Empowerment provides. Please don't hesitate to get in contact with me if you have any questions about anything. I would love to hear from you. And if you're on Apple, iTunes, Spotify or Stitcher, please kindly leave feedback or a review to encourage this podcast to grow. I would really appreciate it. Until the next episode, take care.